to follow up on the promotion of the movie and the book.
Can you please stop calling it a promotion? What am I promoting?
Put it out on your platform.
But I'm promoting it? Do you see me doing, do you see me in front of
putting it out there, people are going to say that you are
Yeah, I put it out there just like you put things out there, right?
Yeah, but it's not.
You put things out there for a living, right?
Right, but my stuff is not.
So let's move on.
Filled with anti-Semitic
Let's move on. Don't dehumanize me up here.
I'm not doing that.
Another
You're
human
free to
being.
post
I can post whatever I want. So say that and shut it down and move on to the next question.
But Kyrie, you have to understand that by
I don't have to understand anything from you.
It's not me.
Nothing.
By
It's no people that you're making up, bro. Move on.
But by posting
move
what
on.
you
Next
did,
question.
Anybody
Do you guys have any more questions for me?
And they're going to say,
you guys have any more questions? Because this is going to be a clip. This is going to be a clip that he's going to marvel at. Is this any more questions?
But you're not answering the question.
Oh, this is another answering your question. Oh my God, let's make another Instagram clip so we could be famous again. Next question.
Oh. So this guy, Willie, promotes an anti-Semitic film. Like, I'm sorry, did somebody
explain?
Like, this isn't even sort of sorry.
No.
This guy's not sorry for anything, and I want to know why this guy's still playing on the Nets. He's an anti-Semite. He promotes it, and he has absolutely no apologies for this. Why is this guy on a basketball team?
That was on Saturday. That was before the heat really came down on him. A great job by the reporter there, staying with the question. Yes, of course you were promoting it by putting it on. That's the point of having social media, is to elevate things and to draw attention to them. Of course, that's what he was doing. That was Saturday, one day after Kyrie Irving tweeted a link to a documentary that promotes anti-Semitic tropes. And we're going to explain to you just how anti-Semitic it is in just a minute. Irving's initial response led to more criticism this week. Amid that backlash, as I said, Irving and the team now each say they will donate $500,000 to fight hate. Irving, the Nets, and the Anti-Defamation League released a joint statement announcing the donations last night. In it, Irving addresses his tweet saying, quote, "I oppose all forms of hatred and oppression and stand strong with communities that are marginalized and impacted every day. I'm aware of the negative impact of my posts toward the Jewish community and take responsibility. I do not believe everything said in the documentary was true or reflects my morals and principles. I am a human being learning from all walks of life, and I intend to do so with an open mind and a willingness to listen. So, from my family and I, we meant no harm to any one group, race, or religion of people and wish to only be a beacon of truth and light." Joining us now, the CEO and National Director of the Anti-Defamation League, Jonathan Greenblatt, and the senior writer for ESPN and the host of ESPN Daily, Pablo Torre. Great to have you both with us. Pablo, I want to start with you. First of all, tell us about the reporter asking the question, number one. And also, you went and after this all exploded and watched this movie. So you can bring us some context about what Kyrie Irving was indeed promoting.
Yeah, so that was my colleague, Nick Friedel, who is the Nets beat writer, who is the one who has to ask hard questions about this stuff, because this largely, guys, has been a test that the NBA has failed in terms of getting both accountability, to your point earlier, and also answers to questions, right? And so the film, I think this is a story that is both complicated but also extraordinarily simple. Because the film, when you watch it, is not just vaguely anti-Semitic, it is ancient, outright, brain-wormed, unambiguous anti-Semitism.
Explain.
Holocaust denial anti-Semitism. 6 million people, 6 million Jews did not die during World War II in the Holocaust. It is quotes from Adolf Hitler that are clearly fake, cited to a secret document in an undisclosed location that was provided at his death. Just like tropes, unambiguous tropes.
Wow.
And what we have not gotten yet, despite the statement from the Nets and Kyrie and the ADL, is him actually answering questions about what in the film he disavows. It is vague in general right now, and that is where the NBA, via lack of punishment and lack of answers, is failing a test.
So, Pablo, on the sports side of this, let's talk about, is Kyrie Irving worth it to the Brooklyn Nets? They've got a whole mess of problems right now, obviously. They just fired their coach, Steve Nash, as if he were the problem with the Brooklyn Nets right now. Why do they hold on to Kyrie Irving? How is this worth it?
This is the big question. It feels like utter desperation. The Nets are bad. The Nets are also an all-in experiment with the biggest names you can imagine in sports that were supposed to win a championship. They have failed repeatedly. And so this feels like what you do when you're not sure you'll be employed next year in terms of management. And it's also an open question, right? If he speaks Again, not a statement, but actually him answering questions in front of a microphone. Is he actually going to remain employed? That seems to be why they're not putting him in front of a microphone.
And what will it mean to apologize at this point, given what we just saw in that clip a few days ago? Jonathan Greenblatt, I know you helped Kyrie Irving, or at least drafted this statement that he put out with him, you and the ADL and Kyrie Irving. Can you talk a little bit about the back channel work, what you spoke to Kyrie Irving about, and do you believe what he says in the statement?
Well, yeah, so stepping back, this happened on Friday of last week when it was initially posted. I was immediately in touch with ownership and management at the Nets to try to understand where in the world this was coming from. I think, as Pablo effectively laid out, this is not exactly Oscar award-winning material. I mean, this movie is not just schlocky, it's slanderous and hateful. I mean, it wouldn't stand the test of a third grader watching it and thinking it was real. Now, that being said, what I saw on Friday night was, a degree of contrition and shame from Nets ownership. You may have seen Joe Tsai's tweet. We worked with the team and the Kyrie's family and the NBA over the weekend. Where we are today is, look, I wish it had happened sooner. I really do. But I appreciated the statement that he ended up making. It wasn't where he was a few days ago, as you saw in the clip. And the only way that we can beat back bigotry, the only way that we win in the fight against hate is by winning hearts and minds. It's critical. And so we are going to not only invest in anti-Semitism education, we're going to hold a series of community conversations in Brooklyn and I hope around the country to look at these issues and to literally not just engage in dialogue and heal the divide, but bring people together the Black and Jewish communities who so clearly desperately need it. And that, in my opinion, is a big win.
Jonathan, what's going on here? I mean, what's going on here? You've got Trump, who's making anti-Semitic comments. You have the Pelosi attacker, has anti-Semitic screeds in his manifestos that he's putting out there. You have this horrific film promoted. Yes, promoted. Let's just say it. Promoted by an NBA player.
Yeah.
You've got Kanye, who is just saying the most horrific things. We now find out that he's has had to have settlements with former employees because he was such an anti-Semite. You've got him posting, attacking Ari Emanuel. You talk about just going after Jewish businessmen. Why doesn't he talk about international bankers like Republicans? Why doesn't he start using those code words, going after Ari Emanuel and really doing his best? He's a guy that has a picture of Emmett Till after he's brutalized and killed. And Kanye's a guy that said slavery was voluntary. I mean, it's not an overstatement to say that he's putting Ari Emanuel and his family's life in danger. He's trying to do that. It's not an overstatement to say that anti-Semitism continues to spread like wildfire. And I'm just curious, why is it taking organizations so long? Why is Kanye still on Spotify? Why is Kanye still Universal Music Group? Why are these people still promoting a guy who promoted Hitler? Yeah, I really can't speak to the way that some companies have been so irresponsible in this moment. I was on your show 2 weeks ago, and I said, we're going to come after Adidas, and we did. And I was glad they finally turned it around, albeit a little too late. Why he's still showing up in these platforms, I can't say. Because that image on Instagram, that post of him comparing himself to Emmett Till, I thought was so profane. And such, really, just a travesty. Now, all that being said, illness is not, and ignorance is not an excuse for anti-Semitism, but the intention that Kanye West continues to show is why we think he should be shunned. And Jonathan, talking basically, it's not lost on anybody. He's going after a Jewish businessman who he's saying massa. He's saying, "Oh, you're my massa," and it's the trope. The anti-Semitic tropes are horrific.
Yeah, these tropes, lead to terror. Jewish people have been killed by those who've said, like we saw in Pittsburgh, that somehow Jews were trying to replace white people as immigrants. Or as we saw in Jersey City, that white Jews aren't the real Jews. I mean, what Kanye West is doing here is putting Ari Emanuel's life in danger. And let me be clear, other Jews' lives in danger. When he literally, delivers this kind of poison without sufficient pushback, in my opinion. But on the other hand, if I compare where Kanye was to where Kyrie now is, if we can host conversations, if we can do more dialogue, Joe, we can win. And yet there is a reason why the Jewish community is so alarmed. There's a reason why the ADL is so mobilized. It's the stuff on Twitter. And now we have new ownership there. We could talk about my meeting with Elon Musk. We have NBA stars. We have hip-hop entertainers. We have former presidents of the United States, all contributing to an environment in which anti-Semitism is unambiguously elevated at levels we literally haven't seen in about 45 years. That's scary, not just to me, but to Jewish people around the country. And I'll say one more thing. Anti-Semitism and hate is corrosive to democracy. It's the sign of a decay in society. So this isn't really just a Jewish problem, Joe, or a Republican or Democrat problem. It's an American problem.
Yeah.